This is my son's 2009 Honda CR-V. It's got a 4-cylinder in it. And I'm going to show you how to change the antifreeze in it. It's real easy. I'm just doing that because it's got a little over 100,000 miles and I think it needs to be done. Not sure of the Honda recommended interval, but anyway, here's your radiator cap, and here's your coolant reservoir bottle right here. And we'll take the radiator cap off, of course, and you got to push down, turn it about a quarter turn, and then push down again, and then take it off. And the coolant level was full in it before I started draining it. I'm in the process of draining it right now. And then if you want to, you can either leave the coolant that's in the reservoir or you can replace it. So if you want to replace it, it's real easy. Just unscrew your cap here, pull the hose out, lay that aside. And then this bottle just sits in a little bracket beside the battery. And I've already got it loose. So I'll pull it up out of there. And I've already drained it out. But it sets, let me lay this aside. It sits in this little V bracket right here with that tab right here. So when you go back together with it, just line that tab up with that V bracket down there and it should snap into place. And then of course you can empty your bottle out. And if it's, this one's really clean inside. If it's stained or got some sludge in it or whatever, you could take some brake clean. I've done that before on other vehicles, and hold it over a trash can or something and kind of brake clean that out, and it usually takes that kind of that film off the inside of it. Of course, shake it out and let that brake clean evaporate, or take a blowgun with your air compressor and kind of dry it out, but make sure you get that all cleaned out. Then you can put your bottle back in place. After you've got your cap off, let's go underneath. And you need to do this when the engine's cold. If you take that cap off with a hot engine, it's going to have pressure on it, and it's likely to spray everywhere and burn you, so just keep that in mind. This is set for several hours, so it's almost room temperature. But let's go underneath here. Let's see here. Right in the middle of the car, there's your grill. Right in the middle of the car. Right there, that white drain valve. Of course, you've got a cutout in this plastic splash shield here. That white plastic drain valve, you just you can reach your hand behind this cross member. You can break it loose through this opening here first if you want, and you might need a pair of pliers, but once you get it broke loose, it's just on a rubber O-ring, so there'll be a little tension on it. But then you can reach back behind this cross member so you're not getting antifreeze all over your hand. You can reach up through there and unscrew it. As you can see, I've got a funnel sitting in a milk jug on a couple of blocks, and it'll drain right into that. Of course, you could use a drain pan or whatever you've got. And hopefully it's about done draining now. It'll trickle out of there for a long time, so it might take a while. But drain that out, and then to make things easier, when you get ready to pour it back in, what I do is you might need another milk jug. It might fill that one completely full, but you need to try to figure out exactly how much you drained out. Of course, that's a gallon, which is 4 quarts. And I bought a gallon of Honda antifreeze right here. So because when you're draining antifreeze and you go to, of course, shut your drain valve, when you go back to fill it up, you're going to have air pockets in the engine. So you can't just fill the radiator neck full and call it done. Because once the engine heats up, cools down, the thermostat opens, it's going to burp that air out of there, and then you're going to be low on coolant. So you kind of need to know exactly how much you've drained out, and you need to put that back in there. And you might not even get it all put back in. When you're filling it, you might just get 3 or 3.5 quarts in it. Well, you know you drained out 4 quarts, so it's got to have 4 quarts back in it somewhere. So you can fill this up as full as you can. And so you've got 1/2 quart left. You might even put your cap on, run the engine a little bit, or go drive it some. Watch your temperature gauge, because those air pockets can make your temperature gauge spike to hot. Here, let me shut this valve. It's about full. Sorry about that. I'll have to get me another jug. It's almost done draining, I think. But sorry about that. But anyway, when you go drive it, it might burp, and then you're going to be low on coolant. So then you might have to let it cool off a little bit, take a radiator cap off, and refill it some more. But you know, if it's just a pint or something, you could add it to your, if you've got room in your overflow bottle, add it to that, and it'll eventually suck it in. But of course, you want to get well, you want to have your bottle in the range. Let's see, where's it at? Between these 2 lines right here. You want to fill that between those 2 lines, and then, like I said, if you drained a gallon out, you need to get a gallon back in the radiator. So have this about right in here, and then put your leftover in it, and it may be way over full, but it eventually will suck it back into the engine after it warms up and cools down. And I bought Honda antifreeze. It's already pre-mixed 50-50, and I guess you could use the O'Reilly's universal antifreeze if you wanted to. I suppose it would be okay. Of course, here again, it's 50-50. And one more little tip: if you just drain the radiator like I'm doing, you're not going to get all of the coolant out of it. The engine block's going to hold antifreeze. I'm guessing you're probably going to get 80% or maybe 90% of the coolant drained out, but the engine is going to hold a little bit. If it's pretty clean like this and you're just wanting to change it just for maintenance, that's what I do. I just drain it and fill it up. If it's dirty and nasty for some reason, probably should flush the cooling system, but that's kind of a long process. That's another video in itself. So anyway, just doing this for maintenance purposes, and I believe that's all I need to tell you. So have a good day.